Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. And today's video is going to be kind of a discussion video really, or a list of improvements that I would make to Warzone, because that's right, we're going to be talking about list of improvements, things that can be added, things that can be changed, to just make Warzone an overall better experience. Not that it isn't, okay, it is a pretty good experience in some cases, okay. There are some things that are a little bit annoying at the moment, that can make the experience kind of frustrating. But overall, Warzone is a pretty good experience. So, just going to talk about that today. List of improvements, changes, stuff that I'd do to make Warzone better. And you guys can let me know in the comment section below what you would change and the improvements that you would make to make Warzone just overall a better experience, or improve the experience of Warzone. But what you're seeing in the background is a 22 kill squad gameplay. I get 8 kills personally with my M13 class up. I actually do believe I changed a Ranger foregrip in this gameplay, but my previous video was about the M13, so do feel free to check that out. Link to that video will be in the description, but my M13 class setup is pretty insane. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about some changes that I would make in Warzone right now, and things that just are kind of like, I don't know, stopping the game from fully being the best BR that it can possibly be. So let's get into it. Let's talk about a few things. So the obvious things that we could talk about right now, the things that are plaguing the game that could do with a few improvements, could do with a few changes, is definitely the addition of an anti-cheat for a start, okay? The cheating problem has got to go, okay? This whole cheating thing is a bit ridiculous, and it doesn't seem like they're actually making any progress. Now you're probably thinking, Taz, they just put out that they banned 70,000 accounts. Yes, they may have banned 70,000 accounts, but there is videos circulating of cheaters getting banned, making new accounts, and then just go and do the same thing. So they're not being IP banned. They are just having their accounts banned, they make a new one, and that's it. They just go back to cheating again. So realistically, the problem is not actually being solved. Yes, they're banning accounts, but those accounts are essentially getting unbanned by these people just making new ones and doing the same thing again. So cheating needs to be dealt with. Anti-cheat, something like banning people from IP addresses, possibly region locking China, okay, because a lot of these cheaters are from China. That is kind of expected from a free-to-play game, but they should have had a proper anti-cheat in this game. It's quite bad at the moment. And not only that, it's actually affecting Ground War. If any of you guys have played Ground War since Warzone released, I don't know how it's happened. I don't know if these people are just buying the game as well to do this. There's a lot of people using wall hacks and aimbot in Ground War now, so crazy stuff. But yeah, a proper anti-cheat needs to be added. I'm sure all of you would agree with that, because cheating is just through the roof at the moment. Mostly in solos in my opinion, but it does happen in trios and quads every so often. But definitely in solos you see a lot of cheating. Now I might see it a lot more, I don't know, because of skill-based matchmaking. Again, I'm not trying to brag here or anything, but I am quite a good player. I'm in like the top 0% for, it says top 0% for kills or something, and I do often in solos get matched with these cheaters. So hopefully this will be fixed. Next up, something that would improve the game, I think, but I just don't think it's ever going to change, and I think we all know, which is skill-based matchmaking, okay? Now, I'm not going to rant on it too much because it's something that we've heard 1,000 times, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, they're probably not going to change this. But I feel like if they did change this, if they did for whatever reason, you know, tone it down, not completely get rid of it, but tone it down a little bit, you know? Like, start focusing more on the connection, because one, that will improve connections for people, you know? I'm lucky, I use a NetDuber, so most of the time I can get into a game with a decent ping, but I'm sure some of you guys get forced into those servers where, you know, you're a really good player, and the game is trying to match you against other really good players, and you'll get 120 ping servers, 150 ping servers, you possibly even 200 ping servers, like, because the game's trying too hard to find, you know, people of your skill more than it is focusing on your connection, and that's just a very backwards thing, that is, in my opinion. The connection should always be #1 priority, not who you face, not the skill level of your opponent. That shouldn't be that big of a thing. Again, I do believe there should be some sort of skill-based matchmaking that is to protect the really lower bracket people, like people who, there's a lot of people who might play this game who have disabilities, okay? People who aren't going to shoot as straight as everyone else because they might have one arm, they might be missing a thumb, a finger or something. And, you know, those people deserve to play the game, okay? So, skill-based matchmaking bracket for them to protect them would be great, would be helpful. And it would make their experience, you know, joyful and allow them to play the game as much as, you know, the people who are really good at the game should also have the enjoyment of having a good ping game, connecting to a server that, you know, isn't miles away in, say, Spain, if I was in the UK and it's all the way in the US or China or something. Just an overall better experience. Again, removing skill-based matchmaking or toning it down would definitely improve connections for people, as well as the overall experience. Because in my personal opinion, for just battle royales in general, not just Warzone, I feel like skill-based matchmaking shouldn't be a thing, or at least be as little of an impact on who you search or who you find. Because the way a battle royale should play, in my opinion, I said this before in a video previous, basically it should go up in skill level as you progress through the game. The more you stay alive, the harder the opponents get. It shouldn't be the first gunfight you take of the game shouldn't be an almost be-all end-all fight where you're playing as if it's the last zone, like you're one-on-one for the win every single gunfight, because that's what it feels like. Okay, mostly in solos it feels like, not in trios and quads, because I think the skill level is taken as an average of like the players you're playing with, so it's a bit iffy there how skill-based matchmaking works. I don't know if it's based off of like the average KD, score per minute. We don't know what goes into actually like determining, but I'm sure KD in that would be a massive factor. But it's not as big of a problem for me in trios and quads. Again, I play with people who have slightly lesser skill, so it does make my lobbies technically easier. Not that much easier, because I still play with pretty good players, but it does make my lobbies easier. But yeah, so that's one thing. Skill-based matchmaking, either tone it down or remove it. But I think we all know this just isn't something that's going to happen in the near future. Right, and now we're going to get into mostly gameplay related stuff that I think could change. This is more like ideas that I've had, and I'm sure some people might not have thought of this, or you guys might want to add your own input. So again, put it down in the comment section below. Just a little input about what you change gameplay as. Any cool, wacky ideas you have. Like, for instance, at the moment, one thing is duos, okay? Duos has got to be added to this game. There are a lot of people who I see complaining because they're playing trios as a duo. Now, it's not the worst thing though, but you are at a disadvantage if you play with a random who, let's be honest, most of the time, if you've played, like, if you tried searching squad games like quads or trios on your own, you do not get very good teammates half the time, okay? There's a lot of people who aren't very good. Yes, that might make your lobbies easier, I don't know, because obviously, again, I think squads, as a squad, it takes your average KD or whatnot. So, I don't know how that works, but at the end of the day, having a bad teammate doesn't really help you. So, duos would definitely be a great addition, especially for, in my personal opinion, or for me personally it would. I don't know about you guys, because there's a lot of people who go around saying that, you know, they only have one friend to play with, or even if they play on their own, you know, having just one random is a lot better. And not only that, it'd just be a better experience in solos, because personally, I think trios is the best way to play this, or the best, I don't know, experience of this game. I think trios is just that perfect balance of not too many people and not, I don't know how to put it, but I just think trios is the best personal experience out of all the modes. Quads is okay, but again, most of the time I play with two other people, so the best I can play with is a trio, so maybe that's why I think that, because obviously at the moment I'll probably end up playing with a random. I have played quads with a guy, one other person before, and it wasn't a bad experience, but I just think trios is just that little bit less hectic, not too much action going on. And we also don't know what they're trying to do with like player counts, because obviously they did say they were going to try and get to 200. Now, I don't know how possible that is with current connections in the game, which that's another thing I'll be discussing, is like servers need improving. But yeah, addition of duos I think would be a great balance between playing, just a great balance of all the game modes, you know. And don't remove game modes. They need to stop doing that. They keep removing trios every single time, and I just don't understand it. I don't get why they think the player base will be so massively split if they do. Again, if there's 50 million people who've downloaded this game, do they really think 50 million people is you know, I don't know how to put it, isn't enough to like split the playlist, like, you know, solos, duos, quads, trios? I mean, personally, I think the players should be solos, duos, and quads, because that's kind of how it's been for every other battle royale. You know, there's obviously some battle royales that are little outliers, like Apex with trios and stuff like that. The solos, duos, and quads is a good balance, you know. And I would still want trios to be there, but if they were to only keep 3 game modes, then solos, duos, and quads, and that'd be the perfect balance of all worlds. So yeah, that's one thing I'd change. Yeah, and then the other thing I'll talk about is servers. Now, this is a bit of an iffy topic, because we don't know how bad it is for them to like get servers that work, I guess. And I don't know what is like causing. So if you guys have played Warzone in the last week or so, you've probably noticed some days you get on the game, it's quite laggy, the frame rate's quite bad. You get lobbies that you join which just have automatically bad packet loss, like 20% packet loss and that. and you just lag about the map, and it's just not fun, and you can't play the game. And I've had a lot of days where I've actually logged on, you know, and I've tried to play, and I've had to either try like 6 hours later or times where there's less people on, because it's just a very bad experience. Like, you cannot play the game when you get these packet loss issues. Again, they are not on my end, and I'm sure you guys would know this if you have played in the last week or so. But packet loss issues, lag, skipping around the map, it's very annoying, and it still randomly happens even in those games where you don't get packet loss. It just randomly happens, and it can ruin your experience massively. I've had it definitely cost me a few gunfights because of it. So I don't know what they can do here. I would just say the generic thing of improve the servers, but I don't know what they could improve. I don't know if it's like something like tick rates or locations or just what it is that needs improving. But something needs to be done about the servers. They need to get a hold of it. They need to get a fix of it. And again, I don't know how much of it they can fix, but we'll see. I'm sure they're trying their best to. Again, you know, we're in difficult times at the moment, so who knows what they can and can't do right now. But hopefully the servers start to like stabilize soon and get a lot better. I don't know if the player counts need to be lowered as well. Maybe that's something that could be done. Whether or not that would make the gameplay of Warzone a lot worse, hopefully not. But I don't think that's something they'll do. I think they're just going to try and ride out, try and get these servers as up to par as they possibly can. Another thing I want to talk about is just addition of wacky game modes. Okay, now the only thing they really tried, like, they've added plunder duos, but is that really like a wacky game mode? They added shotguns and snipers. Now this came at the worst time, and plus I'm going to be honest, this game mode was just a very bad idea from the start. I don't understand. I guess they just put it out there to just make it, I don't know, something different. But shotguns and snipers is not a good game mode with the meta of how Warzone plays. You know, if you snipe someone at distance, most of the time they're going to be behind cover. You can't then kill them, and the only way you can then get to them is to run up to them really close and shoot them with a shotgun. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to snipe someone from like 50 miles away and then run all the way up there just to shotgun them. Just not a very good idea for a game mode. So I'm hoping they add some like really wacky game modes. Like, I feel like they should. There's so much opportunity, especially with things like the loadout. Like, just make preset loadouts, something like that. Like, you get to a loadout comes in and you could just use a preset loadout, something like that. Just a wacky game mode like that. Or I don't know. Obviously, at the moment they're changing the loot pool, but that doesn't really count as a game mode. You know, that's something they're trying to do, which is cool. I like that. I do like the idea of changing the loot pool. Hopefully, they do that often. As not too often, maybe every like 2 weeks or so. Just change the loot pool around. Obviously, you know, we ain't got MP7s, M13s anymore. We've got like Uzis, we've got M4s, which I'm surprised they put an M4 in the loot pool because it's quite a decent gun. Quite surprised by that, but I'm sure they actually changed the loot pool because the M13 and the MP7 are extremely good weapons, and I'll probably do an MP7 class setup soon because that gun is insane. That gun is probably second best gun in Warzone in my opinion, but it's an absolutely insane gun. But yeah. And then what's another thing I'll talk about, just to finish up? Mostly just new game modes, better servers, hopefully removal of skill-based matchmaking, probably not going to happen. And yeah, that's really all there is to it, really. I hope you enjoyed today's video, though. That's one thing to say. Again, this gameplay is going to be finished off in the background. A 22 kill squad game. I get 8 kills per side, as you can see. We do clutch up in the end, managed to revive my teammates and get the W in the end. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below about today's video, and just let me know what you would change in Warzone. What would you do to make Warzone a better experience? What would you do to like just make the experience of Warzone better? What would you add? What would you change? Just all that stuff. Just put it in the comment section below and I will be responding to those comments. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe with notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!